Hello, my name is ValroththeGreat, and this is the Saddest Factory. Today's episode we will be building this, so let's get into it. First off, I'm actually going to start working on the central power grid. So we're starting in the iron factory, and we're using this tunnel down here to hide the wires throughout the entire factory. It's on the basement floor towards the ceiling, and it's just gonna keep everything a little bit pretty. It is going to merge everything under what's going to be the train station. That's going to allow us to stand in one place, turn on or off any factory that I decide to whenever I need to, in case we're having some power difficulties. Right here I'm just using these 2 points, and there's going to be a switch inside the factories as well to allow for turning on and off the factory from in the factory itself. And then everything's just going to go down the tunnel to be adjusted. And right there I'm going to connect it to the current power system, so we at least have power in this factory. I'm just prettying some things up. And then a doorway to make it nice. And here we're underneath that main spot, making the shaft go all the way down so we can take all the power underneath the basement floor over to our miners, so they can look nice as well, since they're the only thing that's going to be underneath the factory. Gotta be a way to get power to it, and this way the factory power controls not only the factory machines but the miners that are part of it, so if I have to turn one thing off, they all go off. And of course I ran out of power and fell to my death at the exact same time. The Wombo combo. Down here just disconnecting the old lines and running new lines to the miners so that everything's just on that central system. And then finishing up on this spot, you put a door in place and some stairs so that if I need to go down there, or if I decide to expand this factory for whatever reason, I can get into this elevator shaft or electrical shaft and work on the power grid. And just like that, got the basement floor done. So the door to always closed. Come back up here to the main floor, and of course adjusting everything caused it to be a little bit goofy, so we'll fix it like that. Put a railing so I don't fall downstairs. You can just see a little bit of what I'm trying to go for here. Next, we're jumping into working on the iron factory. This is before the power supply system got started. We're just going to expand the factory floor. And then how I'm going to do this is I have the smelters in the main center section. We're going to build constructors directly ahead, and that will be for plates, and that section on the side I just built will be for rods to come out of this factory. And then everything will be managed downstairs, so everything coming in is that center, and on these sides is these mergers pushing them all towards the next set of equipment. And conveyors just to make it look pretty and give us enough room to walk around, so it's not just conveyor belts everywhere. They're just going up and down with these like elevator shaft things. and upstairs where the iron plates are going to be made. Getting everything lined up. Doing a little bit of math. So I got 6 smelters making 180 ingots a minute. So I'm going to have to turn that into 6 of these constructors making 100, or taking the 180, turning it into 160 of plates a minute. As my factory currently sits, this is more than I can supply to everything, just due to I only can do 120 units a minute moving of conveyors, but we're building for the future. I think it's going to be level 2 miners with no overclocking is how this one's getting initially built. And you can see just it takes a lot more time to these lifts, but I think it looks a little bit nicer on the main floor. We'll see if I continue this for the rest of the build or if it's just for certain sections of the factory is going to look like this. Building the manifold on the other side. The belts are clipping. I adjust it all later, but that wasn't really the focus of the build, so I cut all that out. And then I'm building a merger to splitter at the end of this, so that later I can do a smart splitter for throwing things into a sink just to get rid of it all. Alright, and then setting up the iron rod section. This is 12 constructors turning 15 into 10 apiece. One half will be creating rods exclusively, the other half will be then sending the rods over to be made into screws. And again, that's one of the things that it's going to be set up, but the conveyors can't handle the amount of screws that are going to be made. It's fine for right now, it'll just cause a little bit of issues, but we're setting up for the future so I can get right now the big plan is to get to tier 3, which is allowing us to do the automated power plants, so we don't have to every 30 minutes run around and cut down trees. We can just have a machine pull it out of the ground and burn some coal and give us power. Plus the automated power will give us a lot higher of headroom. These are the screw constructors. And all of the power lines are attached to the ceiling, just so, again, there's no power poles just in the middle of the floorways or anything like that. It looks a little bit pretty to me, I guess. This is the expansion of the downstairs of this whole section. And then once I'm happy with all this, I'm going to put walls around the whole thing, call it good. This last section will just be more building. If you want to see where and how. And coming into this next section, this is the build of the train station. So I don't have trains, and I won't have them for a long time. But this is just a little something pretty. Right now we're using it for power station for biomass burners. Eventually be turned into a train station, but the goal is on the top we're going to build our space elevator, so it's all right here in the center of everything. It's going to look pretty decent. This train station model is actually ripped off the Steam like photo that Satisfactory uses. So if you're wondering where I got this from, I just stole it from the developers themselves. This one has been expanded just 2 spaces longer to fit a 3rd train station section in there, I believe, or 4th. And on the roof, this big area, put this lovely space elevator in it. As you can see, it is a very, very large device. While that's going on, I recorded this about a week ago and got a little distracted, so I will get this posted as well as another video this weekend, and then I'll start recording again when I get back. But that's it for episode 3. Episode 4, I should be getting ready to do coal, hopefully. That's it for this one. Goodbye.